Hey there, Rivermen fans. Welcome to our first edition of Coffee with Coach. I'm Jason Ruff, joined by Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel. Guy, first off, man, I'm loving those glasses.
Oh, thanks, buddy. And by the way, cheers.
Cheers.
Our first of many,
Our
right?
first of many.
There you go, buddy.
How do you take yours?
Just a tiny bit of vanilla. That's it. Vanilla cream or something. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I take mine with a bit of honey. I need it sweet.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
That's okay.
I need some honey.
You're
with
young.
mine.
You're young.
I mostly drink tea, but if I do have coffee, I need it sweet. Otherwise, it just tastes like dirt.
I know.
I'm weird that way.
I know. When you get a big beard, though, dirt's good.
Says a man with plenty of years of experience, right?
Yeah.
But no, those glasses, man, look.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
So, Rivermen back in action, season number 43. Tough overtime loss on the road to the Quad City Storm. But going back over the film, what stood out to you the most? What did you like? What do you like? Got to clean that up a bit.
Well, a lot of things. It's the first game of the year. I was just talking to a few coaches in the league, actually, and we got a lot of ECHL guys late. So, one practice with 2-3 guys, maybe two practice. So it's tough to put it all together. And it's, I think every coach in our league is in the same kind of boat. Yeah. So I was happy with the effort. I thought we worked hard. We're just not, structure-wise, we're a little lost. You got to remember the last few years, we always had like 11, 12, 13 guys coming back. This year, I think we only had 7 that played a regular role in the playoffs. So it's tough. It's a lot of new guys. Don't get me wrong, great players, smart guys, but for any single team, putting that structure and takes a little while, and especially us, we at our level, we only have 7 to 10 days, and it's not enough. We say our first 2 weekends are usually like our exhibition games, and we really want to win them, but at the same time, for us, it's more of continuous building towards what we want to accomplish later on in the season.
And you obviously have a giant-sized hole in the leadership group. Alec, Hagan, now since retired. How has been the adjustment not having your rock, your captain, with you and having to adjust and rebuild and move on?
Yeah, we all love Alec, and I think he's phenomenal at what he did, and we're going to miss him truly. But I believe it's a little bit bigger than that. I think we lost Jimmer, that's an assistant captain.
Yeah.
I think we lost a lot of guys that were bringing a lot of that leadership that people don't know of. Like I said, when you lose that big of a group, it makes a big, big difference. Yeah. So, Hags is, of course, a big piece of it. But I think, we have a lot of guys, Draps not being here and Jimmer not being here, and all guys that were letters or were captains on other teams. It's tough, but no excuse, man. Nobody's going to feel bad for guys that own planes, I always say. So,
yeah.
We have 2 championships in the last 3 years, so nobody in the league's going to feel bad for us. It's like everybody else. We just got to rebuild, and I don't see it as a rebuild, maybe a little retool with different players and go from there. But I'm really happy with our group. They work extremely hard. Now, like I told them, we just got to work a little bit smarter and get a little bit more structure, and that's up to the coaches to do a better job. To try to install it as fast as we can, but still give them enough rest not to get injured. So it's always that happy, you're trying to find that happy medium about everything. So it's not easy. It's going to take another probably 2-3 weeks to get everybody doing the right things the way the Rivermen do. So, but we're excited. Great group, man. They work hard.
I want to put a pin in that championship. There you go. Put
Yep.
the pin in the championship real quick. Circle back to that. The big news, the Kaden Cahill trade.
Yep.
Why did that trade need to be made, and why was that trade so difficult for you to actually make?
Well, that's why I told you guys yesterday, because we build special relationship here in Peoria. We always talk about family, and I think it'd be really, I wouldn't be, if you say something, you have to follow through. So when we talk about family here, we really believe in it. And we had Kaden for the last few years, so they become like your kids, your sons, and it always hurts to get rid of a player that was popular, good kid, phenomenal human being. So it was hard, but we also knew that we were losing Jimmer, losing Draps. Our center position was struggling a little bit. We had to, we put some Barker on there that he does a phenomenal job, but it's still, when you have pure centers, it's completely different. And I always build, me from the middle out. And then, center position is really important. When this kid that I was really high on this summer and he signed with Pensacola came available, Griffin Fox, I had to make the move, especially that they gave us a 6'5" that's in the coast right now, but has a good chance of playing down. So it was difficult losing a great person. but also there's a few different reasons for Kaden. I thought he struggled the last few playoffs. And for us, it's all about building for the playoffs in Peoria.
Right.
So we were looking, and you never know in a trade. Last year everybody was all upset when we did the Widmar trade, and all of a sudden the guy we traded for him scored 2 in the final game to win us a championship. So, I always say if the proof is in the pudding, maybe we just should look and wait a little bit and see how the trade works out.
Oh, you've been doing this will be your 11th full season in this position. I think you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think we have but again, you never know what's going to happen, and we want Kaden to have tons of success. He's going to Pensacola, which I dealt with Gary Graham there, that he does everything professionally also. So it's nice. A lot of the coaches in our league are starting to be professional in the way they do trades and the way they do things. So they needed the right winger. I needed the center really badly. Both are good players. Both hopefully bring a lot to their team to bring their team success. That's always a sign of a good contract, a good trade. So that's what we're hoping for Kaden, because we love him to death. But for us, it was more important to get what we needed right now.
Speaking on coaches doing the right things, Shane Toporowski over in Quad City. I know you haven't had a chance to coach against him in person, but got off to a good start against the Rivermen so far. You got to tip the cap. Yeah,
Topper. I played with Topper in Springfield for a few years. So just a good guy. I think the yapping is going to go away. I think he's different. He's going to be a pro. I mean, he's going to be a disciplined team that are going to work extremely hard, because that's what he was as a player, and they're lucky to have him right now. And I'm happy for my buddy. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to say hi, but I'm going to see him a lot this year. We play him quite a bit of times, and happy for him. He's a good guy. Sad for a day, but he fell on his feet there in Macon. So everything kind of worked out for itself, and I think Quad City was time. It's same thing with us. Like, if we don't have great years, if we don't make the playoffs, or if we lose a lot, then I'll fire myself, and it's time to find a new voice. I mean, it's just the way it is in coaching. When you take a coaching job, you're going to get fired, and I think they hired a good man in Topper, and I think he's really going to do a good job there in Quad City.
Well, the War on I-74 rivalry just going to continue to get even better. Like you said, Guy, the Rivermen play the Quad City Storm 13 more times this year. I think they play Evansville 16. Like 30 of our 50-some-odd games are against the two regional rivals. What's the one road trip where you are just either so happy the Rivermen don't have to make this year, or are just kind of dreading looking forward to?
There's none of that. We get excited for every road trip. The only thing is, when you did it for 11 years, some are tougher, you're right, for me, but you can't show that to your players. You know what I mean? You go there with a big smile and do whatever it takes to be happy, because you want, they take a lot of that emotion off. I mean, your leaders. So you try to be smart in what you do. But for me, there's the Evansville one's always tough, because it's long enough to your legs to go away, but it's just short enough that you have to go to day of the game. So it makes it tough, and we never have a sleeper. So you're sitting up, like, for 5.5 hours. And
not nearly as comfy either.
And then for the players, like, because we stop for lunch, so it's a 6-hour trip, and then you jump right on the ice and try to play a game at 100 miles an hour. So it's that one's a little tougher, but I think we have the athletes, and I think we always had the leadership group to know that, we have to push through, because as much as we play so much Quad City and Evansville, those are, like you said, that's pretty much 50% of our schedule. So we have to make sure we have good records against those teams.
You mentioned something very interesting, not showing any frustration to your players. I will always go back to that trip, that Pensacola trip a few years ago in the playoffs, where the bus breaks down not once but twice, and you and I were talking, and you were just saying, just got to keep it level, because I could tell how frustrated you are. Everyone was frustrated, but if the head guy starts showing that frustration, it just spreads across the team like wildfire. Why is that so important to keep that composure even when things are going
well?
wrong?
It's leadership 101. Like, everybody takes cues from their leaders. And as coaches, some coaches are not leaders, even if they're in position of leadership. But most coaches are pretty good leaders if they want to push themselves to become a head coach of an organization. And for that, that a lot of your cues, your emotion goes in. I always say, when my early years, I made a lot of mistakes on the bench of not keeping my emotion in check, and that hurt our team in the long run. So you learn from your mistake. That's why they call it experience. And I also understand that no matter what comes our way, now instead of finding problem stuff, I always try to find a solution. And solution is always keep it on even keel, keep it positive. And at one point, I knew at one point the trip was going to end.
Right.
It's just a matter of battling through. And I think the boys also handled it perfectly. And I remember that meeting we had. I'm like, we have to. Just make him happy. try to make him happy. And, that's for the whole year. We talked to me and Levy about this. So the biggest thing with coaches, because it's a grind, a long season that you skate every single day, it's about making it enjoyable to come to the rink. Right. Making it enjoyable, anything you do, make sure the boys want to come back and put in the effort with a smile on their face. And that's what the biggest challenge is as a coach. And we're extremely lucky. I can't say enough, and I know I talk about it, but I've been having great leadership group. And I know we talk about Alec, Hagan not being there, but now Bearsy, he came a long way. Great attitude every day, work ethic every day. Ernie, great attitude. So we're fortunate here in Peoria that our culture is set and everybody's got to follow suit, because I heard something great. And, this coach was talking about culture, and he was saying a culture is going to be set one way or the other. Right. Even if you like it or not, a culture is setting in every single day. If you're a negative culture and the coach is negative and unhappy, and that culture that's what it's going to be. If you come in and you want to learn, you want to teach, you want the best athletes, the best people possible, your culture is going to build. So the culture is building in every single program, one way or the other. We just decided in Peoria here to find the right people to bring through the front door, and our leadership group is phenomenal. So our culture keeps going on the positive way.
How has Alec Bear, as a captain, contributed to that culture of happiness, of responsibility, of high expectations? How far has he come over the last couple of years?
A long way. He came a long, long way. It's not necessarily his effort, because his effort in practice always been there. Like, he's a hard worker, but I think he understands now that, like I talked about, whatever he shows. Yeah. I mean, I call it whatever you permit, you promote. Right. And I think right now, as being a leader, he has to understand that he's got to be the first in line. He's got to be the first in the gym. He's got to show the way at everything you do, because everybody's looking at him right now. And that's the extra little pressure that comes with being a captain. I don't want people to change when they become captain, but no matter if you like it or not, when they're captain of a team, people look at you. And if you go sideways, a team's going to go. If you have no respect for the coach, a team's going to have no respect for the coach. So it's important that our relationship between me, Eric Levine, our leadership group is always tight and strong, so we can have each other's back. Because we know there's going to be tough times, and we know there's going to be good times. And through the tough times, you're going to see the real culture comes out. And usually when you have a great group, the culture stays the same, positive, and we find solution to every problem, because we know there's going to be problem arising here as the season goes on.
I asked Coach Eric Levine this question. I want to ask you this question now too. If you could go back in time to your first year coaching, right before your first game, what advice would you give your younger self?
Remember what I told you?
Yeah, vaguely, but I want you to share with the fans here.
So you told me that, and I was on the spot. That was a great question. One of the best questions you've had for me. I would tell myself to study and wake up, right? Because, as a coach, when you finish your career, you have a little bit of that player's ego, that player's mentality, and it's completely different. And I think I've always been a little bit of a leader. I always had letters and been a leader, but until you're a coach, you don't understand what leadership is. Right. Because the life of a lot of players and an organization is in your hands, and you have to make sure you do it the right way. And, as much as I thought I was working extremely hard to be the best coach possible, in no way was I even close to what I am today as a coach, because of the experience I had in every single situation, whether it's positive, negative. And I would tell myself, wake up, Guy, because you're not very good, and you better start studying the game even more. So, but it's always good. That's why they call it experience. I've been through it all. I made a lot of mistakes, and but I also understand now a lot better how to build championship teams and great cultures and great teams. So it's a lot of fun. It's been a long process, but it's a lot of fun learning about yourself, but also learning what it takes to become. We want to represent Peoria so well that we want to become that team in Peoria. We want to be the team. We want to be like that hockey. People want to come to the Rivermen. So it's been it took me a little while, but I feel like I'm a way better coach than I was 10 years ago.
Peoria Rivermen, of course, honoring the 2024 President's Cup champions this Friday, opening night. Guy, I want to go back to that championship game. If you could have any picture or painting of that night, of any aspect, commissioned, put up over your fireplace, what's in that painting or that picture, and why?
I honestly think it'd be a collaboration of a lot of different pictures. Okay. Because there's when you win a championship as a coach, you've done it for a while, you're not happy for yourself. It's not about you anymore. I swear that's the feeling you have. Yeah. You're happy. Like, I remember on my cards I would always put Alec Agaman, Eric Levine, Blake Ortman, Allison, and Trevor, because I wanted Eric to become a coach, a champion. You know, he
Yep.
was a champion as a player. I wanted him a coach. Blake Ortman never won one. I wanted him to win one. Allison, Trevor never won one. I wanted them to win one. And we knew it was Alec last ride that he was moving to Wisconsin. So for me, just I see different pictures of what happened that night.
Okay.
Like Alec with the cup, when I told him on the line, hey, because the first cup 3 years ago, he went by himself to get the cup.
Right.
And I felt like last year we did it as a team, man. So I was like, hey, you're going to bring, he's like, it's already done, coach. Leadership group's coming with me. Like everything that I was thinking and just seeing my leadership group there with the president, like that was cool for me because it shows everybody that it's not, we're a team. Like it was about everybody. And then the fans, I remember one time I looked at the fans when Alec was raising the cup and also when he scored that empty netter.
Yeah.
I remember I was on a bench and everybody like, so those are pictures. Then I remember when Coco and Angie came on the ice to hug me. Then I remember when, you know, my son gave me a big hug and I told him that's why I was hard on you. Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so there's so many pictures that I would put together. Can you say collage?
Collage.
Yeah, collage.
Yeah.
A collage of pictures of different emotions that went through that night. And yeah, just seeing my assistant coach lifting the cup. Then even going on the ice after an ice, I saw so many beautiful things of you with your family, how happy and you feel like you did your part for everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
Everybody to feel proud. And as a coach, you're like, man, I did my job. And I remember this used to be my office.
Yeah.
And I had a cigar there and I was like, this is what it's all about. I saw everybody so happy. And Peoria feeling like champions, the city of Peoria feeling like champions, which they are. They're like, this is my city now.
Yeah.
I've been here for so long. So to see all my PYHA players being here and wanting to push to become a Riverman to have a chance to win it. Like, to me, there's so many of those pictures, man. That, yeah. So it's, you know, and just look at this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the brand new players lounge that we had built here.
You look at Allison right there, a lady athletic trainer that has to deal with, you know, meatballs every single time. And she stays like perfectly calm and does her job. And like Trevor, look how happy he is. So for me, there's so many great things about that night, but the most important was doing it at home.
I never had a chance to ask you this question, and I've been waiting for the right time to ask it to you. Describe the emotions. You mentioned Tristan. You were so hard on him. You asked Tristan Trudel last year, even this year, how was coach on you? He'd be the first to say, oh, he's probably harder on me than anyone else. And you see him finally have that success, not only of winning a championship, but also getting an opportunity at the ECHL level, scoring in his first ECHL game. Yes, now he's back down here at the Rivermen. We're happy to have him, but he's got a very high ceiling in this game. When you have all those things starting to come together, especially in that one moment where he becomes a champion, what goes through your head?
Honestly?
Yes.
My biggest thing that came to my head was thinking, this is going to make him grow up even more. And this is going to help him mature even more to become a great person. Because if you win a championship, you have to have that servant attitude, that leadership attitude. It can't be about you because there's so much things that you do on the ice, off the ice to make sure everybody around you is better. And for that, I think there's a lot of growth that comes with it. And I think that's my biggest thing was I really do hope and I do know that this championship is going to give him so much confidence to be better than what he is now. Like, because as a dad, you want your kid to be the best version of himself. And I think just the confidence of winning a championship and going through a lot of hard times. And that's where I struggle a little bit with society now. It seems like everybody's scared of putting people in position to fail and having hardships because hardships is growth. Right. And they just like harden you and they make you want to work harder to get better. And he's been through a lot, and just that championship was kind of just bring it all together for him to hopefully get that push, that leadership push. I don't care if it's a hockey player, you know me. Yeah. I just want him to be the best person, be a good person, grow up, a good husband. That's what you want for your kid. I do believe that championship will help him in the long run.
Are there going to be any emotions at all from your perspective on Friday night? Obviously, it's opening night. Fans going to be in the stands, but also honoring some of those guys who are no longer lacing up, guys like an Alec Hagan or a J.M. Pietrowski, or a Matthew Redding, who was such an instrumental part of that team, and especially of those finals, going to be back getting their rings, seeing the fruits of their labor, and before finally getting off and starting a whole nother season.
Yeah, it is, because I hope the crowd understands this. We are going to do everything it takes to win.
Yes.
But at the same time, I would not be a good person if I wouldn't want my players to enjoy, to really soak in the chance to get your ring, to soak in the chance to, see the crowd appreciating what you did for the city. To me, it's really important also, because why would we do this if you're not going to really,
right,
have a chance to soak in all these great moments? So for me, the journey after that night is kind of going to end the process for next season. But I do want my players to, and myself and my coaches and my staff, to absolutely enjoy that night and see what they brought to the city of Peoria, because there's going to be a big crowd, and because of those guys. And don't get me wrong, the office staff does a phenomenal job, but when you win, you sell more season tickets. Hockey growth in Peoria, more youth hockey teams. So what they did for Peoria, it's a lot bigger than just that one night, and I want them to enjoy it.
Where does that one night, that championship night, rank in your entire hockey career, coaching and playing?
I honestly believe it's the best.
Okay.
Because it was at home, and as a coach, it's different. As a player, I would always say, coaches don't do much. And you're like, it's all because of me. When you're a player, it's different. When you're a coach, and you can ask Eric that, there's so many emotions every single day. When you're cutting video, when you're staying up at night, when you're talking to a kid that is kind of come in, it's 11 p.m. There's so much that goes into building a championship team, and you work so hard that, as a player, I always remember, you do an hour practice, you do your workout, you go home. And then you think hockey, but it's over. For a coach, there's so many emotions. So for me, doing it in Peoria, the city I've been living in for the last 20-some years, and for the beautiful crowd that we had to build in a few days. So it was phenomenal. And 3 years ago, I felt like a weight came off my shoulders. This last championship was an enjoyment. I felt like I'd enjoyed the moment more because I was more relaxed. I already had one under our belt, and I could see the flow of the game, what was going on, and we're going to bring it home. So I enjoyed the moment a lot more. So it was the best, because even when I won as a player, you're so exhausted, or you're this or you're that, but as a coach, you put a lot of time and effort in it. It was awesome.
Guy, last question for you. Home opener weekend, this weekend, Friday, Saturday. What can fans expect from this new look Rivermen team? A lot of returners, but also a lot of new faces as well.
Yeah, a lot of new faces. I think we'll have, like I said, 6 now. I think we have, 7 guys that played a regular role in the playoffs last year. So a lot of new faces, but I think the fans are going to really enjoy this group. But for sure, I want, and I'm not finding an excuse, but it is going to take us another 3-4 weeks, I think, before we flow more connected. I think we're going to work extremely hard. I still think, though, there's going to be, because, the new kid we just traded is not here yet. So there's going to be a little bit of lapses here and there, and we might not be as connected in all 3 zones as we usually are. But I really do believe in our group, and I believe that they really want to get good. So that's all you can ask for as a coach. And now it's our job, me and Eric, to make sure we bring it all together the next few weeks to build it. But I know you're going to be really proud of your new team also. We have a good team that work extremely hard, and they're going to be excited to playing at home.
Trust the process, right? Trust
the process, because it's a long journey, and it's fun. And especially this year, I love the challenge, man. You know me, I love new challenges. It's fun, it's challenging, and I'm so happy and lucky I have Eric now this year. He's here every single day. So my job's a lot easier, and I can focus a lot more on what I love to do, which is my video, my coaching, and stuff like that. And I'm a blessed man, my friend, but I can't wait for Friday night to celebrate with all our great fans here in Peoria.
Neither can we. Friday night, 7:15 p.m., the Rivermen hosting the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, and the only meeting between the two rivals this season. The Rivermen celebrating their 2024 President's Cup Championship wearing specialty uniforms. And, of course, on Saturday, it's Anna Peplowski night, honoring our local silver medalist Olympian. On Saturday, she'll be in town signing autographs, dropping the opening puck. Face-off for that one set at 7:15 p.m. on Saturday. Jean-Guy, thanks for sharing a cup.
Wow. I love this way better than usually.
Oh, yeah. This
Thanks,
is
buddy.
great. For Jean-Guy Trudel, I'm Jason Ruff. This has been Coffee with Coach.